says, here I am in the Tron Solarium aboard Wonder Woman of the Seas, and I thought, what a perfect time and perfect place to talk about the Galactic Starcruiser. Yes, let's talk about the Galactic Starcruiser, or shall we say, oh boy. Okay, so clearly I don't expect very much. I'm not going, by the way, for various reasons. I have seen the reviews, I've seen the experience in various videos, and of course just understanding Disney Star Wars. I do have some predictions on what's going to happen with this property. If you have terrible FOMO and have the money, I would say, oh, they want to talk again? What was I saying? Wait, so if you have tremendous FOMO and have the money, go now, because it's not going to last. So, what is going to happen and why? Well, a lot of people saw this coming, and I don't think the Galactic Starcruiser in its current form is going to last more than a year. They're gonna stick it out. They're just gonna be stubborn about it, and they're gonna insist that it just takes time to develop an audience and blah blah blah, until they can't even maintain the media hype. It's just going to be a money loser, and they're going to have to do something. So I think within the year there's going to be changes. Now, will they shut it down and reimagine it and open it again with something new, or will they slowly make changes over time? Knowing Disney, they're going to slowly make changes over time. They're going to keep cutting things. They're not going to cut the price. People are going to complain about it. Then they'll finally adjust the price, or something crazy like that. I know they've just been missing the mark on everything lately. They're going to mess this up somehow. They just need to close it and change it. That's it. Just pick a day and say, we're blocking reservations. It's going to be new after this, and just get it over with. So what's going to happen to it? Well, ultimately, I think in the interim, before they really figure it out, because at this rate, they're never going to figure it out, it's just going to be a deluxe resort. That's it, a spaceship-themed deluxe resort. They'll probably keep the Star Wars name, but it will just be the resort and the rooms. They're going to drop this whole experience thing and everything, all the characters and the interactions and the missions and blah, 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 blah. That's all going to be gone. It will be a deluxe resort, but one that you need a reason to be there. You can't just show up like you can the other resorts and just to see it, and experience a few of the things. You got to have a reason to be there. But one of those reasons would be the restaurant. They can make the Crown of Corelia dining room the table service restaurant that we were promised in Galaxy's Edge, right? So that's one of the reasons. You got to have a reservation, and with your reservation, you can ride the box truck over there. You can have lunch or dinner, and maybe they work it out so that you can't actually loiter, meaning you can get there before your reservation. You can see the hotel, hang out in the lounge, in the lobby, but when you enter the restaurant, now I don't know, I've never been there, I haven't seen any schematics, I don't know how hard this would be to do. Once you enter the restaurant, you have your meal, you can't go back to the hotel. Once you're done, right, either they direct you through a tunnel or something to the box truck, or a cast member escorts you back to the box truck. So once you're done with lunch, I gotta go, because people would kind of loiter and hang out for a while. I understand that that's not something that they can have. Now, this doesn't mean that they won't have some resort-specific activities. Like, they could still have the line dancing and the baccarat. No, it's not baccarat. The card game or whatever. All the cruisy type activities. Heck, even Star Wars trivia. Do that in the morning before outside guests are allowed in there, and just to have those deluxe resort extras, but keep them limited to the people that are staying there, because otherwise, yes, they would become overrun pretty quickly, right? Now, a few interesting things they could do with this, though, is if you do well in the missions in Galaxy's Edge, and you either earn enough credit or earn a certain standing or whatever, maybe you will get a mission that actually directs you to the Galactic Starcruiser, kind of as a reward. Yeah, as a reward for playing the missions. And I think that would be a super fun thing that would get people using the interactive features in Galaxy's Edge more. I've never done it, because why? But you know what? If that was like an incentive, maybe I would. The problem with this is Disney would actually have to implement an app that had a score and a leaderboard, and it wouldn't be fair and accessible to everybody. You would actually have to compete with other people to get this, and it's not something that they're really into doing, but it would give a purpose to playing the games and or even riding Smuggler's Run, multiple times. Not that they want that, but maybe if you're a good pilot, you get a few points. Eventually, you'll actually get a mission that takes you over to the Starcruiser. I think that would be super fun, and I think that would get a lot of people playing the games, like in Galaxy's Edge. Oh, and I did forget to mention one thing about the restaurant. They could still do the dinner show. It just can't be that weird, cringy thing that they have now. They would have to totally revamp it. I'm not saying go full hoop-de-doo, but something, I don't want, maybe a little more subtle, less in your face, maybe just a nice Star Wars themed dinner theater, not this kind of in your face Gaia, the galactic superstarette or whatever she's supposed to be. Just, some nice live entertainment, some singing and dancing, something that's just a dinner show, but don't make too much of a big deal about it. I think give people less to give them less to bitch about, really. Unfortunately, there will be some negative, issues with all of this. When Disney realizes, and I do say when, that they realize that the current offering is unsustainable. There is going to be a lot of salt being spread, and I heard that Disney has now a media ban for employees and Imagineers, criticizing guests. But despite that, yes, there's going to be a lot of public criticism about the changes coming from the Imagineers and everything like that, and it's going to be the same stuff we've been dealing with for a long time. They're going to blame, toxic fans and people who don't understand, and because it's Rey, we're all sexist ogres, blah, 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 blah. But they just can't understand that we don't like these characters, and we don't consider this real Star Wars. So it's nothing to do with Rey or Karen or any of that. They're just lousy characters, and compared to the real Star Wars characters, they're even lousier, if that's even a word. Well, it is, because I just said it. But it's fair to talk a little bit about what we actually expected and wanted from a Star Wars hotel. And it was nothing complicated. It was nothing this ambitious, nothing this expensive, certainly, and something that would have been relatively easy to do with much broad appeal. You see, a huge problem that they're going to have with the Starcruiser is they have created an experience that is simply unavailable to most Star Wars fans, and more importantly, very unavailable to the very few Disney Star Wars fans that there actually are. You see, Disney somehow thinks that I am their target demographic, right? They built this experience for somebody like me, older, established, long time Star Wars fan who can spend the incredible sum to go to this experience, but I don't want to. It's not worth it. It's not my Star Wars. So if they missed the mark there, if they're pricing out, they're pricing me out because I don't want to spend that much money for that. That's really the issue, right? If it was original Star Wars, if it was Luke, Leia, Han, Obi-Wan, then I would be like, maybe that's worth it. I don't know. You know what? It looks pretty darn neat. But the thing is, if someone like me is priced out of it, then what about all the other fans who for whom this is an achievable goal, certainly, but maybe over the very, very, very long term? I mean, they would have to save for a very long time in order to do this. And then, what if they're disappointed? What if they saved all this money, spent it, and then just didn't like it, and got what we're seeing in some of the reviews? And I think what that's doing is it's creating a huge resentment among Star Wars fans, particularly the Disney Star Wars fans, because it is something that is essentially inaccessible to them. I think a lot of them will have looked at it and said they just can't afford it. They're not going to try because it's too risky spending all that money for something that, well, who knows? Fortunately, OT fans and people like me have the luxury, honestly, of just deciding we don't want to go and then making fun of it. So I don't feel bad that I'm not going, actually. I don't resent them for doing it. I resent how they treat Star Wars, but I don't really resent the Galactic Starcruiser because it just looks silly, and I wouldn't go there for the same reason. I wouldn't get a suite on a cruise ship. I just don't think it's worth it. So, if I was invited to like a coastal kitchen one day, I would certainly go. If I was invited to be sneaked into the Galactic Starcruiser, sure, I would go, but yeah, it's fine. So, yeah, they're really doing a huge fan disservice by creating something that's just inaccessible to so many people. And it's a little bit shocking that they did this. I mean, the parks were meant to be for everybody. This is not for everybody. It's very clear who they expect to be there and who they want to be there, even though they didn't get that. Anyway, what did we want in the Star Wars hotel? Very simple. An extension to Art of Animation. That's it. I mean, how complicated is that? Build 3 more buildings, even in the same shape, use the exact same blueprints, maybe reposition them a little, put it in that space, if it can go there, but I mean, yeah, maybe move a road or something. Put it in the space between Art of Animation and the Caribbean Beach Skyliner station, maybe with a direct connection to the Skyliner station so that those guests can get to studios quickly, right? And that's it. Just have some nicely themed buildings like Art of Animation. And all we want is a building themed to Tatooine, a building themed to the Empire, and a building themed to Yavin. Or Moon of Endor, whichever one. I mean, they're both forests, so I don't know. Well, you know what? They would probably go with Endor because then they could put like Ewoks around. But either way, that's all we wanted. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of expected when this was announced. Not this like hugely complicated and way wacky, crazy, expensive experience. We just want a hotel that is themed to the Star Wars that we love. And that's it. You know what? And to address the whole pricing people out of the market and creating resentment, you got to keep it a moderate resort, like Art of Animation. You could price it the same as Art of Animation, which does command a premium, by the way. So let's not forget that. And you know what? Even if it's constantly booked, months and months out, that's fine, because if you are vigilant, you can get a room without spending a small fortune on it. So it is still accessible to, all fans with a little bit of effort, right? Find a good travel agent, maybe have them constantly check for you. So anybody can experience this, and the rooms, they just need to be like, I don't want to say decorated, but just have an expressive theme. They don't have to be like, fully stone textured or anything like that. Just look like it would be a, a courtyard on Tatooine. That's all we want. Something like that. A little bit nicer than a mud hut, but, it doesn't have to be, the Ritz-Carlton or, what is, Cannot Bite, something like that. Whatever that place was. I don't know. And a few like fun extra things like a Hoth themed bar, maybe theme the restaurant after the hangar bay or a hangar bay, pick one, I don't know. And just things like that, or a replica of the Solo's homestead, as a play area even. That's all it would take, for the pool. Well, I don't know what to do about the pool. There were really no pools in Star Wars, so not the place where Anakin and Padme vacation. That would just be like, no. Okay, but yeah, that's all we want. That's all we wanted. That's all we're probably asking for is just an extension to Art of Animation based on Star Wars. But it has to be real Star Wars, like real legit Star Wars. Not Disney Star Wars. It has to take place, or has to be set in the OT time frame. That's why it's got to be Tatooine and Yavin and Hoth or Endor and the Death Star, the original Death Star. That's it. And there will never be an empty room. Guaranteed, there will never ever be an empty room, and people will love it. They will love it, love it, love it. Boy. Will it ever happen? No, they're just these wacko leftoids that run Disney now. They just won't be able to. Little teeny brains. They will not be able to grasp it, and it's so frustrating. Oh boy. Well, that's it for my little Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser rant here in the Tron Solarium aboard Wonder Woman of the Seas. Ah, I can't believe it. I mean, some things are just so simple and so obvious to so many people that we just can't understand why Disney doesn't see this, why they actively refuse to recognize it. I don't know. It is genuinely a mystery to all of us. But I am still reminded that I am here on a luxury cruise ship ranting about a luxury hotel experience at a luxury theme park. So, oh boy. Am I really, really thankful for my problems.